How's it going, everybody? It's Raph from B&C Camera. And for the featured gallery for November and December, we have Women in Focus's Fall. We have here today Tiffany Weems, the president of the Las Vegas branch of Women in Focus. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me and talking to me.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and discuss a little bit about yourself, what got you into photography, and also what got you into being the president of Women in Focus.
Well, I started out as in my late 20s. I was pursuing acting in Los Angeles, and I was getting my headshot taken for the 20,000th time, and I was hating it, and the photographer was having a great time on the other side of the camera, and I thought, I want to do what he's doing instead of what I'm doing.
Right.
So I went home, I got a camera, I started playing with it, and I was like, this is so much better.
Yeah, less pressure, right?
So much less pressure. I can eat, it doesn't matter, you know, what I weigh that day, all that silly stuff.
Yeah.
So I started taking pictures of all of my friends that were actors in Los Angeles, doing all of their headshots, and just really fell in love with it.
Nice. Okay, right on. So jumping back into the Women in Focus, you mentioned to me that you were started in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
How did that experience work out for you? And then you apparently also moved to Chicago and St. Louis and opened up your own sections there. Could you go ahead and talk to us a little bit more about that?
Sure.
Your experience with that?
When I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, I was trying to get out of the headshot realm and do more fine art photography.
Okay.
So I started doing my research, and I was like, well, if I could just start doing a show, you know, that was my goal, is to have a piece in a show. And I stumbled upon Women in Focus Atlanta that is about to celebrate 30 years.
Wow.
And an amazing group of women. So I joined that group, started getting in shows, and my head exploded. That was the most exciting thing ever.
Yeah.
Then I had to leave Atlanta and move to, Chicago.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I want that same group again, and it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So with the help of some local photographer friends, I created a chapter in Chicago that is still thriving to this day.
Nice.
And doing their exhibitions all over town. A few years later, I found myself in St. Louis, and I thought, well, Chicago worked out, I'm going to jump on that again. So I created the St. Louis branch, which is doing phenomenal still. And now I'm home, back where I grew up in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah.
And I immediately started the group here, and we're about to celebrate 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's my creative outlet, it's my baby. These women have become dear friends and just a really great support system for female photographers.
Yeah, speaking of which, I mean, the gallery this month and next month is really exquisite. Can you talk a little bit about some of the people that you've worked with, not just here, but all around, and how that experience kind of helped bolster your photography endeavors and how it improved your photography?
Well, I think the beauty of these groups is that it's all ages. We have, in all of the cities, we have girls that have just graduated college,
right?
And then we have women later in life, older women, and with that comes wisdom and knowledge. They have been there, done that.
Of course.
And so when we have a problem, and some of us that shoot professionally, if we have an issue, we can go to somebody else in the group and say, hey, I was hired to shoot this. I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they'll be, and they'll really help us get through it. So it's a support group, it's a networking group, and it's really exciting to make different friends. I think birds of a feather flock together. And when you see work, like this, all you can do is want to be better. Yeah,
it kind of pushes and motivates each of you guys to kind of improve further. And of course, like what you had mentioned, you guys aren't very to a point pretty much with things, but being nice enough to hey, maybe you could do this and that, pretty much, right? Is that kind of what separates your guys' photography group compared to everybody else here in the city, pretty much, right? Just kind of the slight pushes towards improvement on this and that to kind of help bolster and make you that much better?
I have attended other photography groups in the past, and I will say I wanted to create something that nobody asked you what kind of camera you shot with.
Right.
When they saw your piece, they didn't say, what were your settings?
Yeah, of course.
That's fine. That's the technical aspect of it. But that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a very welcoming, non-competitive environment. And I think that's what keeps this group together and thriving. nobody's picking your work apart.
Yeah.
And if they want to give some suggestions,
Of course.
that's great, but nobody's here to destroy you. And
Yeah.
we share work also. I have given gigs to other women in the group and vice versa. So there's enough work for everybody, and we know that.
Yeah.
And so we thrive and we enjoy that.
Okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some events that you guys do and, other exhibits and stuff here in town. What do you guys typically do in terms of events and when you guys have meetings? What do you guys typically do?
Well, we have been blessed with meeting here at the Hub once a month.
Okay.
And B&C Camera has been fabulous to our group. So we meet once a month. I bring in guest speakers. I've had past professors come in from CSN, where I got my degree 2 years ago.
Okay.
I'm an older student. That's okay. So we've had professionals come in. I've had social media experts come in.
Yeah.
And also the beauty of it is we will have members in our group get up who I know specialize in a certain genre, so they will get up and give tutorials.
Okay.
Another thing that we do is we do group field trips.
Yeah.
Where we get outside. And we were just at Floyd Lamb Park last Saturday trying to find some fall foliage.
Yeah.
We will go to Red Rock Canyon in the pitch dark with headlamps on and our tripods and try to get the stars or do light painting.
Oh, cool.
We feel safer as a group,
Right, of
when you
course.
go out, safety in numbers,
Yeah.
especially being women. And then I try to put on at least 1 or 2 shows somewhere around town, and we've been very welcomed and very fortunate to do so. So we try to stay busy. I try to keep the ladies interested.
Right.
And they keep coming back. So I guess
That's good. As long as everybody's having a great time and also learning, you can't really go wrong with that,
Right.
So yeah, how do we reach out? Like, if anybody's interested or curious about Women in Focus, what are some best ways to kind of reach out to you or any of the other members so that way they can kind of join in on the fun and the knowledge as well?
the best way to reach us is by our website, which is womeninfocuslasvegas.com. And you'll see a lot of our members there and information about our meetings.
Yeah.
Go to the contact page, send me a message and say I'd love to come and get more information. And I usually get back, I try to within 48 hours.
Cool.
And that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
After that, you just show up.
Show up and be there and have an open mind and
participate.
Enjoy. Yeah, participate. That's kind of the main thing to kind of get out there and really learn and pick stuff up is to participate. You're not really going to learn anything unless you're just sitting down. So you
Exactly.
send an email out or reach out to them. womeninfocuslasvegas.com. Correct.
Correct.
So cool. Lastly, is there anything else you'd want to talk a little bit more about Women in Focus? Any of the future stuff?
I will say next year in 2023, we will have a show at the gallery over at the CSN campus.
Okay, cool.
Which is really exciting because that is where I recently graduated.
Right, yeah.
And
Alumni.
one of our professors over there is a member of our group.
Oh, cool.
Heather Protz. So
Yeah.
that's gives us even more street cred. And so we're going to be putting a show up over there in the spring.
Okay.
And then we will have another show next year also. I don't know the dates yet, but it's going to be at the Sahara West Library.
Yeah.
They have a beautiful gallery over
yes.
there.
Yeah, that's
and they've been very kind to us and welcoming, and this will be our third show.
Oh, wow.
With them.
Yeah, it looks like you still have a lot on your plate still, even
Yes.
for the end of this year and on to next year. So that's very exciting stuff. Well, thank you again so much, Tiffany, for being here today for this interview. Again, womeninfocuslasvegas.com if you guys want to reach out to them. And the gallery will be here from November to December. So
December 3rd.
December 3rd. So definitely swing on down to the store and check out the gallery and see all the great work that these artists have put up for Women in Focus. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Thank you. All right. Cool. See you.